Yeah, what's happening? We about to bring that action. Gotta hold it down for my Seattle Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. We going beneath the waves. Get it hype, step onto the ice. Ready for some action. Release the Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
Well, hello friends, this is the Beneath the Waves podcast, your source for all things Seattle Kraken and beyond, and maybe we'll be adding another team to our coverage. You can't see me, but I am throwing a knowing little wink your way, but I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Heather, and lucky or maybe unlucky for you, depending on how you feel, you are stuck with just me for this cute little mini-sode of our podcast. I'm going to be talking about the huge sports announcement that was made in Seattle this week and give a quick little update on the Coachella Valley Firebirds and their playoff run. All right, so let's start with the big news. This big announcement happened on Wednesday, April 30th, and we needed to do this now because the news could not wait, if you haven't heard. And also, I cannot contain my excitement for much longer. It is officially official that the Professional Women's Hockey League has selected its second expansion team, and that team is going to be based in Seattle. Yes! Finally, we can say it loud and proud, and the word is out. I've actually been an ambassador with Women's Pro Hockey Seattle for many years, and this organization has been at the forefront of bringing women's professional hockey to Seattle. I personally have to give a huge shout out to Zoe Harris, the founder of Women's Pro Hockey Seattle, for her tireless work, but also for her passion and her enthusiasm from her very first conversation with the leaders in the Kraken organization in 2019. So this really is a dream come true, and it's so surreal that it's finally a reality. We kept saying that at the press conference, like I can believe it's here, but I can't believe it's here. Through that organization, I was able to attend the press conference announcing the team, and I just could not be more honored to have been able to be there. It really is potentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be at the announcement of a brand new team. Like, I barely slept Tuesday night, and I was up so early on Wednesday, just filled with nerves and excitement. And I actually woke up to the notice that the season ticket deposits were being accepted, immediately got mine, and maybe ordered a sweatshirt too. I mean, there's only going to be a brief amount of time when the team is PWHL Seattle, and I really wanted a piece of that history. The overall mood at the press conference, though, was just absolutely buzzing with excitement. While the team had been rumored for weeks or even months, and even though the announcement was made earlier in the day, there was still that feeling of excitement and anticipation of hearing it officially announced. And a side note, there was also food and the most adorable PWHL themed sugar cookies, which were these delicious almondy flavored cookies, by the way. Not that I had one. Maybe I did. Totally did. I think for me, though, I have some highlights from the press conference that I just want to share. And by the way, if you did miss the press conference, you can watch it on the PWHL Seattle website or on their YouTube. And I really just suggest that you do because it was so encouraging and motivating. It wasn't too short or too long. It really was just perfect. And all the speakers were so good. And just the hype was amazing. But the overall support of this team before it's even created and developed, both by the community and the Seattle sports teams at large, was just extremely heartwarming. I just love that the city came around and embraced this team before we even know all the details about it. This is the first time that two professional women's sports teams will share an arena, the Storm and the PWHL Seattle, which I just find to be amazing, and also, like, it's about time. Seattle's now the first city to have a team from each of the three main women's sports leagues in the United States, the WNBA, which is the Storm, the NWSL, which is the Reign, and the PWHL. And I think that's incredible. Like, look at Seattle breaking barriers. It's one of the reasons I love living here, for things exactly like this. Like, this is incredible. I also thought it was telling that Amy Scheer, VP of Business Operations for the PWHL, noted several factors as to why they chose Seattle for the second expansion team. Among those reasons were the infrastructure already being in place, which I think is so huge. You know, they're going to have top-notch facilities with Climate Pledge Arena being where they play games, and then the Kraken Community Iceplex where they practice. And I love that these are the same place that the Kraken practice as well. Like, that is they're so deserving of that. They shouldn't get anything lesser, and I love that that's where we are. Youth hockey was also a factor because it's such a huge movement, not just in Seattle, but beyond King County as well. And I think if you've ever spent time at KCI, you've seen a ton of youth hockey players. And I think that is really just super fun. The fans, that was a huge part of this as well. And Jana Heffer, the VP of Hockey Operations, cited that the energy during the takeover tour was electric, and that told them all they really needed to know. And I think, maybe Seattle didn't have the biggest numbers, like attendance wise, but we had the biggest energy and the biggest hype. And I think that is really what made the difference for us. We also got confirmation of a 30-game schedule for the PWHL 2025-2026 season. The expansion draft will take place mid-June, which is before the actual draft, so more details to come on that, but we were told they're pretty close to being finalized, so that's exciting. Having an expansion draft really allows the 2 new expansion teams to be competitive right from the jump, so that's a great way to add to the team. There will also be another takeover tour next year, so if you're not in Seattle, hopefully you'll be near one of the locations for this tour because you don't want to miss it. Maybe put your own city on the map, but it's going to be so exciting to see this keep growing and expanding. The PWHL is also completely comfortable if the team skates with PWHL Seattle across their jerseys for year 1. They're working on names, but they don't want to rush it, and I respect that. The colors, though, we know those. They're going to be that beautiful emerald green and that cream color. I just love them. I think they're perfection. It so fits in with the Pacific Northwest and especially Seattle, so I love that. Also, everyone seems super hyped on a big rivalry between Seattle and Vancouver, and I am here for that. I think the 2 West Coast teams having that rivalry is going to be built in and super natural, so I'm excited. Overall, though, this was just such a huge, exciting day for Seattle sports, and for women's sports. The outpouring of support, the well-attended media event, the founding member deposits that I'm seeing people make and continue to make, the robust conversation on social media, all that just confirms what we already knew and have already said so many times over. We are ready, and everyone watches women's sports, and this was just another way to prove exactly that. With that being said, if you are in the Seattle area, maybe consider putting down a deposit for season tickets. Even if you decide against getting them, or if they're sold out by the time your turn comes up, you can actually use that deposit towards tickets during the season so they don't go to waste. And I think that's so smart. I love that. But also, please keep the conversation going. Please keep the hype going. Please keep talking about this. Let's just keep reminding people that Seattle was absolutely the right choice for this expansion team. And from us, we will definitely be covering this team on our socials, on our podcast. So don't worry about that. We've got you covered. And also, I just hope to see you at a game because I cannot wait for puck to drop, and it's going to happen sooner than we think.
This place is so energetic. They're full of so much life. They're going to love you. And this is the stage that you guys deserve.
And now we're going to catch up on the Kraken's AHL affiliate team, the Coachella Valley Firebirds, in Desert Dialogues. The Firebirds swept the Calgary Wranglers in round 1 of the Calder Cup playoffs. So cool. I'm just going to give a couple of quick highlights on these 2 playoff games. So first, game 1 was on Tuesday, April 22nd, and it was a 4-3 triple overtime win for the Firebirds. So puck drop was at 7:07 Pacific, and the game ended at 11:36 Pacific. So it was a total of 4 hours and 29 minutes of play. Oh my goodness. And so many fans stayed to watch, amazing. Firebirds dominated the first and second periods. In the first, John Hayden scored at 3:39 into the game with assists from Yanni Newman and Logan Morrison. And then less than 4 minutes later, Brandon Bureau put the Birds up 2-0 with his goal, assisted by Jagger Furcus and Ben Myers. There was only one goal in the second, and it also belonged to our Firebirds. Mitchell Stevens scored at 14:05, assisted by Jacob Melanson and David Goyette. However, the third period was all Wranglers. They scored 3 goals to tie the game and take this thing to OT. But through the course of 2 overtimes, the score was still tied. Thankfully, though, at 2 minutes into the third OT, Mitchell Stevens scored his second of the night to win the game. He was assisted by Ville Ottavainen and Nick Brouillard. What a game. What a win. Game 2 was on Saturday, April 26th, and this was a 2-0 win. There was no score in the first, but Mitchell Stevens put the Firebirds up 1-0 with his goal 15:22 into the second. He was assisted by Nathan Villeneuve. In the closing seconds of the third, John Hayden got an unassisted empty net goal to seal the game with a 2-0 win. Of note, Nicky Coco was in net for both of these games, and Game 2 was his first AHL shutout. So good job, Coco. Round 2 of the Calder Cup playoffs is a best-of-5 series as opposed to a best-of-3 that was in the first round, and the Firebirds will be playing against the Abbotsford Canucks in the second round. They are currently playing Game 1 right now while I'm recording, so this is Thursday, May 1st, and they are up 1-0 with a goal by Ryan Winterton. Game 2 is going to be on Saturday, May 3rd, and Game 3 on Wednesday, May 7th. If necessary, Game 4 will be on Friday, May 9th, and Game 5 on Saturday, May 11th. The first 2 games will be at Acrisure Arena in Coachella Valley, and Game 3 will be at Abbotsford Center. So keep cheering on your Firebirds. They are playing some outstanding and really fun hockey right now, and I know that the 32 Bar and Grill is showing some of these, so definitely check it out. But stay plugged into these guys because they're really fun to watch. All right, before I close out this mini pod, I wanted to just let you know, or maybe remind you, that the 2025 NHL Draft Lottery takes place on Monday, May 5th. So tune in to see where the Kraken land in their first round pick. And if you're local, you can even catch the fun at 32 Bar and Grill. Our Beneath the Waves shop has 25% off everything starting May 4th and going through May 7th. So stock up so you're ready for next season and you have things all summer to wear. You won't want to miss our Price is Right gear, our Monty Mania gear, our Joey Icon gear, or any of the other wonderful and amazing designs we have. We have so many different products too. You'll definitely find something you love, I promise. And we'll put the link in the show notes for you. And until next time, you can keep up with us all over our socials at BTWSEA. And be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star rating on the podcast app of your choice so you know the next time we drop something fun for you to listen to. We have some great content to keep you in the Kraken vibes all summer long, I promise you. So thanks for all your support. Thanks for your likes, your follows, your reviews, your reposts, all that good stuff. We so appreciate you. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will talk to you soon.
We going beneath the waves, going